Welcome to Real Estate Riches, where Kathy Byrnes empowers realtors to achieve the success they've always dreamed of. Starting her career at 55, Kathy built a thriving business that offers the freedom of time and financial independence. And now she's sharing her journey to help others do the same. Whether new to the industry or looking to level up, this channel is your hub for proven strategies, inspiring stories, and the tools you need to grow your real estate business. Join Kathy each week to explore global opportunities, successful systems, and expert insights to take your career to the next level. Get comfortable, pick a video, and start learning. Your journey to success starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes. I'm here with Real Estate Riches, and today my guest is Angelica VonDrak. I love that last name. It's very strong.
Thank you.
And we're going to chit chat about her business, get to know her a little bit better. And you're up in New York, Upper New York?
Yeah, I'm in Upstate New York. I cover 6 counties in the Hudson Valley and Catskills.
Wow. I've never been up that far in New York. That's I've only been to one spot in New York, and that's New York City one time. Back in 1968 when I went to Woodstock.
Oh, wow.
I'm an original hippie.
Well, Woodstock, it took place in Bethel, New York, in Sullivan County, which is in the southern Catskills, and I cover that area.
Oh, really? How interesting. Because I was 19, clueless where I was. We were walking. The cars moved so slow. You could jump on the back of a car and just sit there for a while, skate along for maybe a mile, jump off. It was ridiculous because I could only get within 30 miles of the event by bus. I flew into New York City and came in from Michigan. And anyway, that was interesting. So, but that's good to know. And it was up in northern New York. I didn't know where I was at. And that's where you're at.
Yeah,
so,
you were in the Catskills.
I was in the Catskills. Awesome. So tell me how long you've been a broker, your little backstory.
So I got licensed as an agent in 2020, at the end of 2020. So I've been an agent for 4 years. Before that, my husband at the time and I had flipped properties in New York. I lived in the city before I moved upstate. And so in January 2020, I was working in biomedical research, and I had a car accident and a brain injury, and it kind of took me out of that field.
Wow.
Yeah. And then COVID happened, and I had to do all this rehab for like 10 months. And then I was getting to the point where I was like, you know what? I need to go back to work. What can I do? At the time, I was renovating the house that I lived in to sell it. I was like, you know what? I love doing this. I love flipping properties. Let me get my real estate license. And then, I can kind of do all of it myself. And I got licensed, and I decided to join a team upstate just to sort of get some training and not have to worry so much about lead generation.
I think that was a smart decision.
I think so too.
And it's a struggle. And to cut you off, I'm going to come right back to it. Yeah. I had an agent reach out to me, or not an agent, a friend, and she goes, I got a friend who wants to get into the business. And I go, do they have grit? Because if they don't have grit, stay home. And I said, and a lot of teams don't even want to hire new agents right now because they don't trust that they will stay. So they must have seen something in you. So carry on.
So I joined this team. I guess within a couple of months of being on the team, I got into the game at a really good time because the market in upstate New York really blew up because of COVID. Everyone wanted to get out of the city and get to the country. And so it was a great time to get into real estate to begin with. So I started doing transactions. Our team leader, after just a couple of months, she came to me and she was like, you are so much better at this than everybody else. I need you to teach everyone on the team to do it the way you do it.
Wow.
Because I was, getting a deal every single week. I closed over 60 transactions my first year.
Oh my gosh. Well, did you say you're an engineer? Were you trained as an engier?
So my PhD is in chemical biology.
But you're organized.
So very organized. Very organized. Yeah. And really good at time management. I have an internal clock that's ticking all day, and I'm really obsessed with efficiency. So it's sort of like I'm constantly prioritizing and reprioritizing and figuring out how long it's going to take me to do X, Y, and Z, and what's the most efficient way to do those things so that I can accomplish the most in the given period of time.
Yeah.
So we started doing like a coaching group for the team. And then I started doing all their productivity coaching. I started training and mentoring all the new agents because we did have a lot of leads coming in at the time, which was amazing. The team leader had built this really incredible marketing machine that was just amazing for lead generation. But you still need to convert once you get the leads. So the training and coaching and everything that I was doing was really focused on those conversions and just getting the agents on the team to kind of understand the numbers, right? Like if your conversion rate is X, you need to talk to this many people in order to close a transaction. And we would, work backwards in time and see what's the average time to closing once you have an accepted offer or a contract, and then work with them on establishing those numbers in their pipeline and understanding like, where's your next paycheck coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah. And really like doing that kind of planning with them. And so I was on that team for about a year and a half. And then we started to go a little bit different directions. I mean, I loved doing the coaching and mentoring, but I was spread very thin, trying to like do my own business, handle all my own transactions, and train 10 agents and coach them. So I needed a little bit more time back for me.
Were you paid for that?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
And so I got a percentage of the transactions that all my mentees closed.
I did that too.
And, I felt the coaching was so rewarding. I loved doing it. And I'm still in touch with so many of those agents now. And, it makes me really happy to see them being successful.
Yeah.
But I decided to go out on my own. And I had been being recruited by a couple of the brokerages locally because I think, people's numbers came out at the end of the year and people were like, who is this person who closed this much? And so I got recruited and I went to Sotheby. And so I've been with Four Seasons Sotheby ever since.
Very good. Very good. Well, popular producers attract every single company out there, and I love that you mentored those people and found a value in that. For me, I did not find value in it because I didn't find value in the people appreciating the mentorship, and they would waste my time. And I had 10 right off the bat when I first moved over to the team that I'm on now. And I don't think there's a one that stayed. And so they were taking on a lot of agents, and that was a learning curve for them. That's why I said a lot of teams are willing to do new, because so many don't have the grit. So many don't want to stay the course. This is efficiency. This is making those calls. This is so many things that spreads your time very thin as well, right? And so
what I noticed with like the new agents, they're so reactive versus proactive with the clients. And so they had no sense of boundaries. And so it was just like them reacting to someone calling them in the middle of the night, asking to see a house the next day or 5 houses the next day. And they were getting worn out, understandably, and burnt out from this. And so a lot of the sort of coaching and mentoring I did with them was teaching them to establish boundaries and a workflow and just how to work with the clients and set expectations with them.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Well, I'm also a lot older than you, so I'm a lot more impatient. And if you don't get it, okay, I'm done. And we're very different styles. I wish I had that clock going like you do, because I don't. I am the squirrel. And so I have to rein myself in like crazy. And that's what is attracting so many people to you, is your efficiency and how you get things done. And I'm sure that the whole process from start to finish when you're working with a client is efficient as well.
Yeah, I try to be. And I usually have a conversation with the clients when I start about like, this is how I like to work. What's your preferred form of communication? Let's do things, the way that's going to work best for everyone so that we can come up with the system that works for us. And, spend as little time as possible looking at homes till we find the right one for you.
Yes, I love that.
I mean, nothing is worse than taking someone out to see 12 houses over the course of 3 months and they don't buy anything.
Right. Well, I had one client and she would we'd get out to the house, and sometimes they would be 40 minutes away. I really rein in my territory personally.
Mhm.
And she'd say, well, I don't like what's going on in the next neighborhood. And I go, okay, we're done. Here's what's going on. From now on, you're Google Earthing every place before we go.
Yeah.
So that you can analyze it. So we could be more efficient with our time. I said,
Yeah.
you're busy, I'm busy. Let's be efficient. You can see so much with Google Earth. And get on there, figure that out. If there's something out there, then it's out. Because a lot of people, especially in today's market where we have a at least leaner stream of available properties here. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. Our inventory is minuscule.
Yeah. And I have one client, she's very specific what she's looking for. She wants the primary on the main floor. She wants a pool in the backyard. She wants privacy. She has a certain price point. I'm like, okay, all that's great. And so you're going to be shopping online a lot before we're going to head out to any of these places because it makes sense for them too. I mean, she's a CFO of a company. She's busy. I'm busy. And it's just smart. And drive by it. Go to an open house and see, but the good ones, they're flying out the door when they come on the market. Yeah. So, and they have to be prepared for that too. So, okay, great. Homes in the Wild. What made you think of that? I love that name.
No, actually, I think where I live, I moved upstate to get out in the wild, right? Basically, to get away from people and be in the country and live somewhere where I'm just surrounded by nature's splendor. And that's my life, like getting outside and doing things outside. I'm an equestrian, so I had a horse farm before. Now I board my horses, but I'm outside all the time doing stuff with them. And so I think each of my clients, like all my buyer clients, they have their own vision of what their life in the wild is going to look like. And I think many of them are coming from the city where life is so much more controlled, right? And everything is concrete and glass and steel, and it's just not the sort of freedom and clean air that everyone is looking for upstate. And so that just really kind of symbolizes like the wild for me is everyone's, their vision and their dream of the country.
Do you do much equestrian estates?
Now and then. But there's not a huge market for it, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it because of the winter?
That does play a factor for sure, because a lot of the big equestrians are going to Florida in the winter. Yep. They're not staying in New York.
South Carolina.
So that's definitely a factor. I think because we're sort of in between a couple areas, like there's definitely more farms in like Westchester, and then we're a little further north, and then Saratoga, obviously with the races and stuff. So there's big horse country places right around us. So there's a little bit less, I would say, in the Hudson Valley.
Okay. Are you doing, I know that Sotheby's is international. Are you doing anything international?
I'm trying to think if I've done anything. I mean, once in a while, you do some referrals, right? Like, I have a buyer who wants to buy here. Let me reach out. Like I contacted one of our offices in Mexico about a client for a referral, but I don't personally do anything international otherwise.
I think it's important to pay attention to because it's a huge, huge market. I was at a friend of mine's who has an equestrian farm here locally to me. I'm in North Carolina. And his wife does equestrian training. And there was a horse from Portugal there. And I said, are you telling me that they flew a horse in from Portugal to your place here in the country? And they said, yeah, it's a flip. And a flip, like a house? And they go, yes. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how interesting. So then I'm with EXP, and within EXP, we have a whole international. Well, there's a whole platform where you can go into all these different groups and talk to agents who will post different things. And in there, in the international section, it said an equestrian farm in Portugal. So I called my friend who had that farm and I said, hey, do you know anybody in Portugal that needs an equestrian farm? Because I'm thinking outgoing referral. And he goes, I don't know anybody in Portugal, but I got a friend who does equestrian training in Spain who travels to Portugal once a month because he's looking for that. I go, get out of here. So I said, can I use your name? He goes, sure, I do. I connect the two of them. I connect that guy in Spain with my client who is a realtor in Portugal, who I know, and she covers the whole country. And I just got an outgoing referral for $2.5 million because of that Portugal horse. And paying attention. And
Yeah.
also our system allows us to do that. But there's another system out there called Global Marketing Agent. And it's something worth looking at. I signed up for it because I have access to all kinds of international properties that I can promote. And I like it as another stream of income. And especially in a market that's leaner right now, when luxury money and luxury properties are big. There's a lot going on in the luxury market locally, more than locally. So I have a bigger audience when I'm looking out. So it's something you may want to consider, especially with Equestrian. It's a conversation you can have. And that's what I'm looking for on this channel is like to help agents start thinking how to think outside the box. It's not just the hamster wheel of the buyer and the sellers and we grind and we grind and grind. You already showed that you got into the business because you were flipping. So you saw opportunity there. You created extra income from flipping. Well, that's what I'm trying to teach other agents to really see. Don't just stay focused on buyers and sellers. And if you are, then be doing some investing on the side because that is just a sales position. It's just sales. And there better be some planning. And as a former financial planner, I'm like, you've got to have an end game here, people. And it comes up faster than you think. All of a sudden, you're 74 like me. And you're like, what the heck? And you feel like you're 30.
It's true. And there's definitely a way in our business of real estate for everyone to sort of carve out their own sort of individual niche as well, too, to like see what they really enjoy doing and, what really gets them going and focus having a larger aspect of their business and diversified income streams focused on these areas that interest them. Like I started doing new construction, which was awesome. I'd only done renovations before. So I did my first new construction last year. And that was like such a great learning experience. It was so fun to design a house from the ground up. And that working with investors and developers is now like a big part of my business.
Wow.
And then to get back to your story about the equestrian farm, referrals has become a huge part of my business this past year. And I think it's amazing. And just to tap into the referral network within the brokerage is amazing. And to start networking with agents in other places and like have these sort of Zoom meetups with agents from around the country. It's just awesome.
It is. I'm leaving Sunday for our company convention and we've got leaders from 24 different countries coming in and sharing. It's a big mastermind in the very first day, even before the convention starts. And I was in Lisbon in June visiting that team that I referred some business to. And I met so many people from other countries while I was there. One guy I just love, Jason P. Jordan, he is in Italy and he is helping to create that MLS, global MLS over in Europe because they have no MLS over there. It's portals and people aren't licensed over there. It's kind of the Wild West. And they're looking to make it more uniform so that everybody can win, especially the public, and that's what's really important. Wow. Well, this is great. Any other tips, words of wisdom you'd like to share with the group here?
Oh, I don't know. I would say, for new agents, it's definitely about finding structure because you're always going to fall back on your habits.
Yes.
So you got to set up good habits and don't rely on the sort of lofty goals to get you there. It's the things that you do every day, those little things every day that are going to get you there.
Inch by inch, it's a cinch.
And then for the more established agents, start thinking about those alternative income streams, grow your network, think about referrals, because I'm getting to a point in my business where I love being able to step back and give out referrals and then collect a check 2 months later. And I didn't have to do anything.
Right.
It's amazing.
I like that a lot too. All right. Well, that was wonderful. I really appreciate you spending time here and sharing your wealth of knowledge and very interesting points. And so we will have all of her information on here so that you'll be able to reach out to Angelica. And if you're looking for up in the Catskills up that way, she's your gal. Well, thanks so much.
Kathy. Yeah, this was great. Thanks so much.
So thanks for joining me on this episode of Real Estate Riches. Wasn't that great? I'm sure you got a nugget or two. I know I did. So if you liked it, please subscribe below, share it with everybody, make some comments. We really find that invaluable. And if you're thinking that you would love to talk about this a little bit more, let's schedule a business strategy call. I'll have the link below. Let's see if we can't mastermind together and see if we can empower each other. That would be great. So until next time, signing off. Hope to see you on the next one.